Okay, so this is the exact PowerPoint presentation that I show students in order to set up the research report. And what I start by doing is saying what a research question cannot be. So a research question cannot be the following things. It can't be something that is obvious, something that's already known, impossible, or it can't be something that can't be answered. So none of these things are acceptable because it doesn't lead to any research. So it can't be those things. Right, once I've established that, I move them on to what a research question can be. So it must be answerable. They must be able to get some answers from their research. Now, the next three words that they're shown, hopefully they'll know because they've been introduced by you. So the next thing is to make sure that the research question is a question word, a what, a why, or a where, and not a verb question, because the verb question just leads to a yes/no answer. So if you do get any students who've got a verb question and they don't want to change it, I suggest you add a why to it, and then you start getting a bit of a better research question. The next thing I show them is this kind of example. It starts with your subject and they must find out something about it. Now, there's a number of things that they need to find out, and these things could be either they're interesting, or maybe it's something that's new, it may be something that's unknown, or it's something that's interesting to them, something they want to find out about, because it's always useful if they're interested in their research topic. They've got to bear in mind their sample group as well, because the sample group have got to be here and easily accessible because of time limitations. Right, so I give them this example done about me because I'm an English teacher. So I want to find out about grammar. Is it interesting? Yeah, of course it is. Everybody likes grammar, and I want to find out because I want to help my students. And the sample group is going to be you lot, because apparently you know about pre-sessional students. Right, so my starting question is, how can grammar help students? But there's a problem. Can you see the word grammar? It's far too wide, so I need to narrow it. It's much the same with the word students. That is far too wide, so I'll need to narrow that down as well. So if I look at the word grammar and I focus that, obviously there's lots of bits of grammar, but I'm going to focus that down to just one thing, relative clauses, so all the rest can go, and I focus grammar down to relative clauses. If I do the same for students and I answer all of these questions, I get to know who my students are, and surprise, surprise, they're pre-sessional students. Right, so here's my focus question, and you can see that it's a lot better than the original one, but I can focus that even more. So if I think about focusing it and then narrowing it even more, I can do this by adding in the sample group. So if you look at this question, the first little bit is the actual sample group, it's the teachers. And in fact, it's a very good idea at the beginning of the research question to get the students to mention who their sample group are. So it's usually, what do USW pre-sessional students think about? And that seems to work pretty well. Right, so the last little bit I do is I show them how it goes from a very simple question to the really, really complicated question following these steps. Now, as you can see, the final question is quite long, but it is very detailed, and hopefully this helps them create really good questions for their questionnaire.